Murakoze cyane. Thank you very much, Inganzo Ngari. Thank you very much. Honorable Dr. Geraldine Mukeshimana, Minister for Agriculture and Animal Resources. Other honorable dignitaries present, Director General of Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board, Dr. Patrick Karangwa. Board Chair of African Agricultural Technology Foundation, AATF, Dr. Usman Badiane. Executive Director of AATF, Dr. Canisius Kananjire. Mrs. Juliet Kabera, the Director General of Rwanda Environment Management Authority. Vice Chancellor of Ines Ruhengeri, Prof. Fabien Hagenimana. Members of OFAB, partners AUDA, NEPAD, PBS, AFS, and other partnering institutions here present. All other protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Ngaramtse neza. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the official launch of the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB Rwanda Chapter. My names are Barbara Umuhoza, and I'll be the mistress of ceremonies this morning for the official launch of OFAB Rwanda Chapter. A few housekeeping rules, as I had said earlier. We have the washrooms at the back. For the ladies, it is on the left, on my left, and for the gentlemen, it's on my right. But we also have ushers at the back ready to help you. In 2019, AATF and RAB had a series of meetings to identify areas of collaboration in relation to innovative technology commercialization, including hybrid rice, drought-tolerant maize, biotechnology communication platform, optimal seed system. A high-level roundtable meeting was held with the theme transforming smallholder farming through innovative agricultural technology. It was organized in October 2019 to discuss further on the potential area of intervention, but due to the pandemic, COVID-19, the processes were halted. The government of Rwanda kept expressing interest through RAB to host the OFAB chapter here in Rwanda. An OFAB chapter here in Rwanda will support strategic national processes on agricultural biotechnology by helping bridge the information gap between technology developers, such as scientists, and technology users that include farmers and general public. Without further ado, therefore, let us commence our opening session by welcoming Dr. Canisius Kanangire to start us off with welcoming remarks. As he gets ready to walk up front, he is the Executive Director of AATF, and before joining AATF, Mr. Kanangire was from the African Ministers' Council on Water, a Pan-African intergovernmental institution based in Abuja, Nigeria. He has over 35 years of experience in leadership, and he is welcome to come and give us the welcome remarks. Welcome, Dr. Kanangire.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, Honorable Dr. Geraldine Mukeshimana, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Usman Badian, Executive Chairperson of Academia 2063 and Board Chair of AATF, Dr. Patrick Karangwa, Director General, Rwanda Agricultural and Animal Resources Development Board, Mrs. Juliette Kabera, Director General, Rwanda Environmental Management Authority, development partners present here, AATF implementing partners present here, distinguished delegates from the 7 OFAB chapters in different countries in Africa, distinguished members of the media, our guests, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this auspicious occasion of the official launch of the Rwanda chapter of the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB. I thank you very much for making this time and coming here to support us and actually chart the journey together for the next coming years. The launching of OFAB chapter in Rwanda is a great achievement for AATF and the government of Rwanda, represented here by the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. And it is indeed a great step forward in our collaboration with the aim of promoting and transferring technologies from where it is generated in different centers, universities, to the farmers, the end users, so that those findings, the set of knowledge, those technologies can really produce the impact that we need and pull many of our smallholder farmers from poverty to prosperity. I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to you, Honorable Minister, and to the government of Rwanda for your warm welcome, for hosting this meeting, and for very productive and transformative discussions that we held with you and your teams in 2019 and during the workshop that took place yesterday in this city of Kigali. The launch of OFAB Rwanda Chapter today is a realization of one of the key suggested areas of collaboration that we agreed upon in the joint high-level roundtable held in 2019. Honorable Minister, as captured in its strategic plan for agricultural transformation 2018 to 2024, the government of Rwanda is committed to improving the lives of its smallholder farmers who, like many other farmers in Africa, have continued to face challenges such as low crop productivity attributable to pests and diseases, declining soil fertility, and weather-related challenges. AATF, on its part, has established itself as an African-led non-profit organization that works towards empowering the smallholder farmers through access to technologies that can make a difference to their livelihoods. It was founded in 2006, on the promise of tackling poverty and food insecurity. AATF was established in 2003 on the promise of tackling poverty and food insecurity through technological interventions and improve productivity and incomes for smallholder farmers, as well as building an enabling environment for better performance and transformation of agriculture on the continent. AATF achieves this through a public-private partnership model that empowers farmers to transform their livelihoods through better tools and inputs that would, without AATF's intervention, take a much longer period to reach them and cost a lot more. During the last 20 years in operation, AATF has facilitated access to technologies worth over $400 million to use by farmers in Africa. These range from improved seeds production through either conventional or biotechnological methods to digital tools and machinery. We have seen yields improved by 100% to 300% over the years due to improved seed and improved capacity among the farmers. We have witnessed cassava yields increased from 7 to 11 tons per hectare to 23 to 33 tons per hectare, and the income of the farmer increasing up to $2,000 per hectare, and also reduction of drudgeries, especially for women and youth, due to mechanization. Indeed, AATF, working with many partners, has been on course on its promise to deliver prosperity through technology to our farmers and communities. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, biotechnology is one tool that has demonstrated transformative impact in many parts of the world. Research indicates that farmers who adopted BT cotton in India managed to avert crop damage and decrease the use of chemical pesticide in general, and particularly those pesticides that are highly hazardous for the environment and human health. Further, drought-tolerant biotechnologies, biotechnology crop, such as Tela maize, whose development and deployment are managed by AATF, can help farmers avert total crop failure in the event of reduced rainfall amount. That is now very common because of climate change. We have also witnessed how biotechnology ensures farmers have access to more nutritious food, such as the first genetically modified cowpea, the Podbora-resistant cowpea that is now commercialized in Nigeria. And also, we have witnessed the improvement of the large-scale production of BT maize in South Africa. I want to commend Rwanda for its active engagement and exemplary openness to technologies in general, and biotechnology in particular. Indeed, though Rwanda has not yet engaged in commercial production of genetically modified crops, it has a quite long experience practicing tissue culture and has made important steps towards establishing the necessary legal and regulatory framework through the biosafety law and the National Strategy for Implementation of Biosafety Framework. These will pave the way for an effective and efficient delivery of biotechnologies required to address Rwandan farmers' challenges and unlock their potential. Like any other technology, the advancement of biotechnology needs to be accompanied by dedicated effort towards educating, informing, and disseminating factual information to enable key stakeholders, including farmers, private sector players, extension service providers, consumers, journalists, and policymakers to make informed decisions on the adoption, use, and management of the selected biotechnologies. In the absence of facts and figures, these stakeholders would be caged by misinformation and fear. It is for this reason that the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB, was established in 2006 to facilitate constructive conversations on agricultural biotechnology among key stakeholders. For both policymakers and the larger public, OFAB facilitates quality engagements and conversations on the safety and benefit of modern technologies. And through OFAB again, AATF has provided candid leadership in biotechnology communication and advocacy that has been instrumental in creating an enabling environment for biotechnology advances that are reshaping agriculture and improving food security and positioning the sector as a key economic player in sub-Saharan Africa. With this launch today, OFAB will have presence in 8 countries in Africa, including Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, and Rwanda in the Eastern African region, as well as Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria in Western African region. The AATF goal is to avail this platform to many more countries in Africa so that knowledge, scientific advancement can be communicated to all stakeholders and inform their decision. That is the only way we can be able to transform agriculture on this continent. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank our joint technical team for agreeing on two major sets of actions for our collaboration. First, to increase efficiency in the rice and maize value chain, and secondly, to increase farm productivity through sustainable mechanization throughout the complete production chain. AATF commits to work closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources and other relevant government ministries and agencies to contribute to the successful delivery on these priority areas and other directions that the government of Rwanda will choose to take in the area of biotechnology. Let me conclude with my sincere expectation that the launch of the OFAB Rwanda Chapter today will open more avenues for the advancement of biotechnologies in Rwanda and in Africa. I thank you very much again. Murakoze cyane. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Canisius. Another round of applause for him. The launch of the OFAB Rwanda Chapter, amongst its other objectives, is to close the information gap on agricultural biotechnology and consequently demystify its attendant myths, misconceptions, and propaganda on technology. So thank you so much for that introducing remarks. It has enlightened us. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Usman Badiane, who is the founder and executive chairperson of Academia 2060, which is an international non-profit organization with headquarters in Rwanda and a regional office in Senegal. Academia 2063's overall mission is to create state-of-the-art technical capacities across Africa to support the efforts by the member states of the African Union to achieve the key goals of the Agenda 2063. He is also the board chair of AATF. Welcome, Dr. Usman Badiane.
Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency, Dr. Jeraji Mukashimana, Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, thank you for gracing you with your presence here. I'd also like to say thank you to Director General Karangwa and Director General Kabera for also joining us here today. And also thank you to everybody who is around to be part of the launching of the OFAB chapter here in Rwanda. I won't be long because I know our guest of honor has to leave, but I wanted just to share a few words about why this is extremely important, not just for Rwanda, but for Africa in general. We know that there's a lot we need to do despite 20 years of solid growth across Africa, and this country is a testimony to that. We had our best 2 decades over the last 20 years. Despite all that good progress and hope and positive change we've witnessed, we still have a very long way to go. We would like to improve the living conditions of our people. And we do know from evidence that the most effective way to lift up people out of poverty, to beat hunger, is to raise the productivity of the resources that the poor people depend on. And for us in Africa, it's primarily agricultural land and agricultural labor. That's where technology, in particular biotechnology, comes in. This is an area where we can compete with the rest of the world, just like we did in digitalization. But we cannot do that if we don't have the policy and the regulatory environment and don't invest in the expertise and the laboratories to do that work. The fight for world markets and markets here in Africa is going to be won with the technologies of tomorrow, not the technology of yesterday. Often in the debate, biotechnology is described in a way that is rather distracting and not conducive to progress. Like any technology, it will not be served on a silver plate on the table to us to consume. So the passive attitude that we've had in the past about do we take, don't we take, is it good, is it bad, we're leaving it to others to develop, to own, to harness, and then to deliver for their own good. We should rather say, can we master this technology? Can we harness it? Can we invest in the expertise, in the laboratories, in the regulatory environment so that we are around the table when everybody else is wielding this technology to compete? Africa has big markets that are developing. We all often complain about the large import gaps, and here is the place perhaps to say that this is not a load for the Minister of Agriculture to carry. The import gaps is not happening because agriculture is not performing. It is happening because the economies are growing rapidly. Population is growing and demand is growing much faster. But the last 20 years were the best years for agriculture. What we can ask the Minister of Agriculture and the research system to deliver is higher yields, higher growth, and sustaining performance in agriculture. And we can't do that if you don't master biotechnology, just like we did for digitalization. 20 years ago, African countries were very concerned that the digital revolution was going to bypass Africa. That is now history. We are there, we're competing. We can't do that in biotechnology. There are modern technologies in the horizon, gene editing, CRISPR, molecular manipulation, whatever it is, these are just tools and techniques that we can master. So with better seeds, we can give our farmers the opportunity to raise yields and raise productivity of land and labor. But ladies and gentlemen, the last chapter where we also do need biotechnology is dealing with climate change. Climate change cannot be accommodated and lived with if you don't come up with the type of seeds that allow us to deal with droughts, with floods, with salt, with less inputs, but also with pests and diseases. So we are not going to do that with the technologies of tomorrow. So I'm happy and proud to be here. AATF, my final statement, is trying to make sure that Africa is part of the global league in biotechnology in the future. We would like to work here with the authorities in Rwanda and work with the scientific community in Rwanda to make sure this country is ready, just like we want other African countries to be. So thank you again very much for being here with us, and congratulations to my colleagues from AATF for coming here and bringing this partnership forward. And thank you again for Minagiri, of course, and Rab for being a good partner for us. We'll do what we can to make sure as AATF that with our partners here in Rwanda, we move the biotechnology frontier for the benefit of African farmers all over the continent. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osman. Without further ado, we'd like to invite Dr. Patrick Karangwa, who is the Director General of Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board, Since 2018 in January, prior to his appointment as the Director General of RAB, he held the position of Head of Research Department in RAB from August 2015. He has been a research scientist in fields of agricultural biotechnology and plant pathology since 2004. We'd like to welcome Dr. Patrick Karangwa, who will also welcome our guest of honor after his presentation. Welcome, Dr. Patrick.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources of Rwanda, Dr. Ousmane Badiane, Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of the AATF, African Agricultural Technologies Foundation. I noted the presence also of World Bank Country Manager Laurent Simon Price, and Dr. Canisius Kanangire, Executive Director, AATF, Mrs. Juliet Kabera, DG REMA, Vice Chancellors of government institutions. I saw some, like Dr. Gashumba James. I don't know if I have not noticed others. And also of private academic institutions, like INES, representatives of government and institutions and private institutions and non-government institutions. And ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I won't really take much for this, is just to thank you all, starting with the AATF and the various partners for having made this come true to launch the Rwanda chapter for the OFAB. And my predecessor, Dr. Kanangire has made a very great, catchy highlights of what the importance of biotechnology is and where we have also come from and where we are heading. We appreciate the support of all stakeholders who have made it possible to make good progress in this area and other institutions. So without much ado, I would like to welcome Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Geraldine Mukeshimana, to deliver a speech and launch officially the OFAB chapter for Rwanda. Thank you.
Dr. Ousmane Badiane, the chairperson of the Board of Trustees of AATF, Laurent Percy, the World Bank country manager, thank you for coming. I saw you with your team and I was like, what are you doing here? But thank you for coming. Dr. Kanangire, Executive Director for AATF, DG Patrick Karangwa, DG of RAB, DG Juliet Kabera, DG REMA, Vice Chancellors of higher learning institutions in Rwanda. I saw Ingabire Marie Makire. We are glad that you are here. I see a lot of partners, David from IFPRI, our own science team, our own private sector, the distinguished members of Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology present here. All protocols observed. And we are really thrilled that you managed to make it to this room where we are launching the Open Forum for Agricultural Biotechnology Rwanda chapter. It was mentioned before, Rwanda is joining other African nations such as Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria in hosting OFAB. This is a big milestone in advancing agricultural research application and an opportunity for our people to interact and get the latest information about agricultural biotechnology.
Recording stopped.
By embracing the technological upgrading and the capacity building, as it's highly stated in our agricultural plan for our PSTF 4, it is important that farmers and the other agricultural value chains be informed and be able to make informed decisions in terms of these biotechnology mysteries that goes around. And also, I'm glad that our farmers and the value chain, agricultural value chains actors are going to be provided the opportunity to be at the same level with the rest of African countries that are already benefiting from agricultural biotechnologies. The government of Rwanda recognizes the role of agricultural biotechnology to address challenges that agriculture sector is facing, particularly those associated with adverse impact on climate change, such as rising incidence of pests and diseases, even the loss of biodiversity. In most African contexts, we are realizing that biotechnology is the most appropriate tool to revolutionize our agricultural value chains. The embrace of agricultural biotechnology in Rwanda will help to spur sustainable agricultural development in face of challenging factors of production, such as land, as the previous speaker has mentioned, that the only way we can break through is to make sure that we are increasing our productivity in terms of labor and land. It is time for African nations to redeem its due time by increasing investment in science, technology, and innovation. Besides, we cannot dissociate the modern application of science and technology if we want to transform our economies. It's been unfortunate that Africa has not yet widely adopted agricultural biotechnology in an optimal way as one of the potential solutions to agricultural production challenges. As a continent, we are still hesitating due to misinformation and bad press that biotechnologies have received over the past decades. Meanwhile, it is worth noting that the food import bill for Africa rose to $49 billion US dollars in 2019, which was up from 35 billion US dollars in 2015. It is important that we use homegrown scientific innovations to help reduce the food import bill and to repurpose those savings to other social economic programs. It is also very critical to empower our local research capacity to use the scientific knowledge and experience to contribute in increasing agricultural transformation. This open forum for agricultural biotechnology that we are launching today has an important role to play in working with the government in the process of promoting biotechnological tools in Rwanda and in Africa. This is really critical given the misconception and misinformation that went around the biotechnology. And on that, most of the time, you find that when people are speaking of biotechnology, everyone will be hearing GMO, but it's really important to understand that GMO is one of the components of biotechnology. So I want to make it clear that for us and going forward, we understand biotechnology as tools for agricultural improvement in a wider context. The forum must facilitate meaningful collaboration between policymakers and scientists to support each other's work for the socio-economic development of our country. I am really happy to see the establishment of OFAB in Rwanda, and we pledge our support for its success. And I was told to open it, so I think now it's my pleasure to declare the launch of the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology Rwanda Chapter officially launched. Thank you.
A round of applause for the official launch of the OFAB Rwanda Chapter. The OFAB Rwanda Chapter is officially opened by Honorable Dr. Geraldine Mukeshimana, our guest of honor. So we're going to proceed to the unveiling, and I would like to invite our dignitaries who are here. I'll call out their names, but I'll begin with our Minister, Dr. Geraldine, if you could come forward, please. And if we could drum as we call out the dignitaries. I would like to also invite the AATF Board Chair, Dr. Usman Badiane. I'd like to also invite the AATF Executive Director, Dr. Canisius Kanangire. I'm inviting the RAB Director General, Dr. Patrick Karangwa. And I'm inviting the Director General, Ms. Juliet Kabera, Director General of REMA. Let me ask the Honorable Minister to give us her launch statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure and honor to unveil the OFAB Rwanda Chapter. It is our great delight to join 7 other African countries in this journey that will contribute to the farmers' prosperity. I now declare the OFAB Rwanda Chapter officially launched.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. We are going to proceed to cutting the ribbon. The ushers will help us, and I'll ask the other dignitaries to surround her as she cuts the ribbon. And I ask the dignitaries to proceed with the minister in cutting the cake. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, as well as the other dignitaries. We're going to proceed to taking group photos. I'll ask the ushers to prepare a set here where the Honorable Minister and the other dignitaries will take their seats as we take a group photo. We are starting with AATF, RAB, and the dignitaries who are here forward. Let's take our second group photo. Let me ask the dignitaries to remain seated. And other dignitaries. As they go back to their seats, we are going to receive Inganzongari to entertain us. There is tea at the back and cake is being served. Ngari, murakoze cyane. A round of applause to Inganzo Ngari. At this point in time, I would like to invite Mr. Vitu Mbiko Chinoko. He is the project manager of OFAB project. He is an accomplished rural development specialist, campaigner, and advocate with over 10 years of working with communities on climate adaptation and mitigation and influencing global, regional, and national policy and practice on climate change and sustainable socio-economic development. Mr. Vitumbiko will be talking to us about striving to close the information gap on agricultural biotechnology in Africa. Welcome, Mr. Vitumbiko.
What a great morning it has been to launch OFAB Rwanda. Just like Chinua Achebe says, when a man invites his neighbors for a meal, it's not because his neighbors don't have food, but it is because it is good to eat together. And we do think that the coming in of OFAB Rwanda enables our fight to push agricultural biotechnology much easier because there are more voices that are going to join us. And I'm really excited this morning because of that, and primarily because of the inspirational speeches that our elders gave us. I think they made one thing very clear. This thing is about serious business. It's about food security. It's about the prosperity of Africa. It's about the welfare of each and everyone in Africa. And this is why AATF is very passionate about it. And we're glad that RAB has joined us in this push for agricultural biotechnology. So this morning, what I want to do is really to go through what OFAB is, what our journey has been like to push for agricultural biotechnology in such a very difficult space where there's a lot of misconception, there's a lot of propaganda, but more importantly, all this is happening amidst severe challenges where technology should have played a critical role. Just this year when we got the State of Food Security report, it was interesting to see how badly we're doing as Africa in terms of food security. And second, from Asia, 282 million people in Africa were food insecure. And why that number is low compared to Asia, so to say, we recorded the highest increase in terms of the number of people that are falling food insecure. And that should be a big deal because, as our elders were saying, we do have a lot of resources in terms of water, in terms of land, and also we have labor in a way, but we continue to suffer food insecurity. And all that is happening where, for example, technology could have played a big role. When it comes to some of the critical figures that have shocked me and maybe have always woken me from my sleep and energized me to continue to work for the things that I'm passionate about is some of the figures that have come, for example, from World Food Program, where they're saying that every 6 seconds in Africa, a child dies of hunger-related causes. Now, that is something that we need to reverse. That is something very severe. And as you can see the map down there, which is from the FAO, we see that the numbers in Africa continues to increase in terms of food insecurity. And this is something that we need to reverse. And technology has a role in reversing or helping us to reverse that. And in terms of food security, insecurity in Africa, and pretty much worldwide, we find that climate change leads in the cause of food security because of flooding, because of droughts, increase in the new pests and diseases, and other things that come because of climate change. And that is what triggered the African leadership to start the CADIP program, the Comprehensive Agriculture Development Program, which culminated in the Maputo Declaration and later on the Malabo Declaration, that we increase investment in agriculture because we do have everything, but looks like we did not prioritize agriculture. And yet there are several reports that have indeed said, and the board chair actually alluded to that, if there is the fastest way to address poverty, then it is through agriculture in as far as Africa is concerned. We're also looking at issues of population, where it's really increasing. And within all that, we have not really integrated technology to help us address these challenges. And even when looking at, for example, the CADIP and Malabo Declaration, you find that technology is not highly prioritized. And this, for example, when you're looking at RESTAX and we're measuring investment, agricultural biotechnology in particular is not tracked. Anything that is not tracked, you cannot be accountable to it. It's very important that I think technology is given its role within that. I just thought that maybe in terms of population, we might want to remind ourselves of how we're doing and how that, for example, is also eating into the challenge of food insecurity. And in particular, I think when you look at how much every year we are increasing in Africa against the other continents. So yes, we are second from Asia in terms of the population, but look at that 2.49 every year that we're increasing. I think it's going to continue to put pressure on food production. Others have said that this is also a potential market, but a potential market where production is low is actually an iron in itself. So we need to be looking at very seriously in terms of how can we improve agriculture production in view of the rising population that we're experiencing in Africa. And in as far as agriculture biotechnology is concerned, we continue to see that we are lagging behind. And in a way, it could actually be explained that some of the figures in terms of food and nutrition insecurity that we're experiencing could actually be attributed to the fact that we have not integrated technology in our work. And this has come because in one way or the other, we've looked at the Cartagena Protocol, and the thing that has inspired most of our biosafety regulation there is the precautionary principle, which has been more restrictive than enabling when it comes to coming up with the policies, especially on agricultural biotechnology. We've had sometimes institutions that are helping us to oversight biosafety on the biotechnology, but these, to a great extent, have also not been resourced adequately to carry out their work. We've also seen inadequate political will, and some of it is because politicians are having to respond to the public, and if the public is adverse to agriculture biotechnology, politicians will tend to take time before they can move in that direction. We've also seen that that challenge has actually been exploited by those that are against technology and have been championing that we continue business as usual, even when evidence has been very clear that business as usual is not giving us the results that we want in terms of food sufficiency. And we've seen really that most of the decisions, most of the decisions around agriculture biotechnology have actually been motivated by fear and not by science. And I think this is the reason why OFAB exists, to ensure that decisions on agriculture biotechnology are not motivated by fear, but rather by evidence and science. So we've seen in Africa that really we've suffered, or agricultural biotechnology in particular has suffered both misinformation, where people are just saying whatever they have heard, but also sometimes we've seen very deliberate attempts to mislead people, to mislead policymakers, not to take this progressive technology advancement for their own ends, as it were. And it is for that reason that OFAB came in to ensure that we are able to bring each other together and start a conversation on how can we ensure that that policies around agricultural biotechnology is actually informed by very constructive and scientific-based information. So this is a network, OFAB, which we've launched today. And just to mention that this is a network, a community that brings together all players around agriculture biotechnology to start sharing knowledge and experiences around agriculture biotechnology. We want to interact in that space, let everyone speak their mind around agriculture biotechnology, but by and large, we want to let science and evidence have its final say in that kind of, in the space. And therefore, one of the things that we really are obsessed about is to ensure that we bridge the gap between science and policymakers and, on the other hand, the general public. That space has actually been very polarized, has been exploited by the antis, and therefore we really want to ensure that as OFAB, we bring all those players together. Each one of us needs to say what they think about agriculture biotechnology, and along the way, really come up with a shared vision on what we can do as a country or as OFAB in Africa. And therefore, it is very important that these kind of discussions are informed by science, and therefore bringing scientists in these kind of spaces is actually one of the things that we strive, and we want to make sure that decisions are made based on science, and therefore scientists have a place in this. But we also know we need policymakers, and policymakers need to understand what is the role of science in economic development. And it's very important that that discussion is actually had, as it were. On the other hand, we have the end users, who are farmers. And anything that we are doing that is not touching on farmers, then it is actually irrelevant, so to say. So bringing in the farmers together and ensuring that farmers have a say on what is being promoted is one of the most important things. And I think we've just come from the Food System Summit, where it was very clear that the space around agriculture development needs to be democratized. Everyone needs to have a say, as it were, and let evidence make a final decision in as far as the direction that that particular community needs to take. So we have had that motivation from the UNEP Food System Summit, and I hope maybe that message went straight into the antis, because I think the message we always hear is like their space, their choice is the only choice. And as we have said, and we have listened to our elders and everyone that has presented, agricultural biotechnology is the most appropriate tool, and sometimes actually the most convenient tool in as far as the challenges that we are facing in agriculture are concerned. So OFAB was established in 2016 in Kenya. That's where it started, and from there it has grown into 7 chapters. And today we're very glad that we've added the 8th chapter, which is going to be hosted by the government of Rwanda through RAB. And it started as a 2-hour meeting, lunch hour meeting, where different stakeholders would come together on a selected topic related to agriculture biotechnology and discuss on that topic for the purposes of establishing a shared vision and also building consensus. And we've really seen that that has worked in several countries, and this is what is giving us motivation to really go into other countries as well. How do we work in a country like Rwanda, where we've launched today? So those are the chapters that we have today. So we have Kenya, we have Uganda, Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Ethiopia. And now that we've launched OFAB Rwanda, it will be joining that community. But we're going to have a collaborative agreement with RAB in this case. We already have that. And we've continued to be hosted by government, and I think that is a big plus in terms of the subject that we are focused on, and how that also enables us to do a lot of advocacy. At country level, we have the programming committee, which is a meeting of people that are interested in pushing agricultural biotechnology in that country, who are going to define exactly what would be the priorities in as far as OFAB is concerned in that country. And then we're also going to have one person who is going to be the coordinator of all the work, who is going to be supported by the programming committee. So that is basically the loose arrangement in terms of how we work. And then going forward, this forum would be meeting and also doing different activities related to pushing agricultural biotechnology. This time around, we are in the third phase, so to say, of OFAB, and we have three objectives to that effect. One is to influence policy change. The second one is to influence policy implementation. So where we have policies, the need for us to ensure that that policy is implemented, because most of the times to have a policy is one thing, implementation is another challenge. And then we also recognize that both for policy implementation and policy change, we need the role of information and communication. And we have the third objective, which cuts across the two objectives. Some of the activities that we do a lot of networking, and you see that quite a lot. OFAB will have to be preoccupied with doing networking, bringing together different partnerships and organizations together, do a lot of knowledge sharing. So we'll publish information, but also engage journalists to be able to communicate the right information as per science and not by the rumors that could be circulating, however loud they may be. We're also doing a lot of addressing the concerns, so really looking at the issue management when these issues come up, but also trying to explore avenues for deeper collaboration in as far as agricultural biotechnology is concerned, but also looking at the issues of policy and how we can influence the same. That basically is a picture of how, for example, interact. So we bring together different stakeholders. We bring in farmers. We need to ensure that farmers access the right information in as far as agricultural biotechnology is concerned. We recognize the role of the media, and we engage the media to be able to report on science. We also recognize the challenges that the media faces. So one of the things that we engage in as OFAB is to do capacity building of the media to ensure that they're able to report science. We also engage with research institutions to be able to take the research and package it in a manner that will be able to be communicated to the public and also to policymakers. So we do bring in a lot more people within our engagement, because that is very important. We need everyone into this discussion. The other thing that we also do within OFAB is to do seeing is believing. So we've heard rumors around and fears that have been said about agricultural biotechnology. One of the things that we do is really organize people to go into communities where GM, for example, is practiced, is grown. And in most recently, for example, in Nigeria, where PBR cowpea has been commercialized. And then people go there to see and find out that actually those that are eating BT cowpea are not any different from anyone else. So this is a technology which is normal, and in a process, you actually address the fears and rumors against the technology. So going into where the technology is being practiced, people see it, talk to people that are practicing it, goes a long way to influence not just policymakers, but even the general public in terms of improving their perception on agricultural biotechnology. So that's where we are in Africa, and there's quite a lot that we have achieved in Africa, from influencing policies in Ethiopia and also supporting commercialization of the regulation process. in there. In Kenya, we've seen a lot of products going through to commercialization for cotton, and also others going through into trials, NPT, and all that. And we've also seen really pushing some policies and bills like in Uganda, even when, for example, at the end, these are not realized because the executive has not signed, but we recognize the capacities that we've built in that country where even the members of parliament were able to pass the bill. We've been able to do high-level engagements in Tanzania and so many others. And we do think that such and similar achievements that we've seen in other countries, we'll be able to record them in Rwanda as we go ahead. The other thing that I also want to mention in terms of achievements is the fact that we've been able to establish ourselves as OFAB, as the authority when it comes to dissemination of agriculture biotechnology information. And the report that was done by an independent evaluator mentioned that 49% of the 49% of the newsrooms and people mentioned OFAB as the single source of information when it came to agriculture biotechnology. And again, that picture that you're seeing there is also a picture of how, through our engagement, we've been able to change the tonality on agriculture biotechnology. And we're seeing really that the gap, especially those that are neutral and those that are positive, increasing in different countries where we've been working. So in terms of where we're going and where we are today, we're in 7 countries, and today we've added the 8th country. We do hope that we can have one more country by the end of the year, and then next year we're going to have Malawi join the group. So we're going to have 10 by next year, and we hope that that is going to increase our voices in agitating and advocating for agriculture biotechnology. We want to continue to engage in the high-level policy dialogues where we want to push for agriculture biotechnology, in particular the processes that our elders mentioned about at AU level, where until today, agriculture biotechnology, it is acknowledged, but then it is not invested in. And we want to ensure that we make a space in that. We also want to ensure that science, technology, and innovation actually comes to the center of Africa's development. I think it is very important. We need to start focusing on our commitment from the UNESCO commitment of 1% of GDP going into science technology. Then we need to move on how, for example, that 10% within the Malabo is apportioned especially into science and technology, and in particular agriculture biotechnology. We need to be moving towards that. We also want to ensure that we have the highest cadre of individuals at Africa level that are going to help us push this. Sometimes some of the things that we're learning is that sometimes it's not enough to say the right thing. It is enough that the highest person says the right thing, then it is taken more seriously. So we want to ensure that I think this agriculture biotechnology is championed by the highest cadre of people within the Africa continent. We really hope that we can grow and continue to make our space as the biggest think tank in as far as information and knowledge management is concerned on agriculture biotechnology. So thank you very much. But before I end, I want to say that my presentation has taken me roughly 15 minutes. And if the statistics by WFP is anything to go by, that means that from the time I started my presentation to now, 150 children have died because of hunger-related issues. Sometimes when it is not somebody related to you, it is a statistic, but think about if that somebody was related to you. So this is how serious the problem is, and I want us to recognize that. Before I step down, we want to really wish Rwanda Chapter the very best as they take on this journey. And what we did was to scout through our OFAB chapters across the continent And these chapters have sent messages of goodwill to OFAB Rwanda to wish OFAB Rwanda all success, but they're also offering some advice on what they need to do to be very successful. So at this juncture, allow me to ask our colleagues manning the machines to bring up the video that has come from OFAB countries as advice and guidance to the new chapter that has been born today.
At ISA AfriCenter, the Secretariat of the OFAB Kenya chapter, Pioneer, we are so excited to have a new member, Rwanda chapter. Congratulations, welcome aboard. In the African tradition, we say you cannot beat a drum with one hand, and this is the other hand that we need in this biotechnology space. For a successful OFAB chapter, what I would recommend from what we have learned in Kenya, one is consistency. It's so important to engage stakeholders consistently. Secondly is inclusivity. Very key to have the stakeholders together, those who are for the technology, those who have diverse views, because that is the way we reduce debates and get to dialogue. Thirdly is timeliness. Important that the Rwanda chapter responds to issues of public concern in a timely manner to avoid falsehoods or misinformation staying in the public domain for so long until it becomes the truth. The Kenya chapter, and indeed the country, has experienced tremendous benefits from OFAB. One is the strengthening of institutions, interinstitutional networking and collaboration. We have found more and more people working together. Number two is providing a platform to discuss national matters. For example, the Biosafety Bill of 2008, which was enacted into law in 2009. OFAB was very instrumental in providing that platform. Thirdly is the approval of the BT cotton in Kenya. We are so excited that after a very long time, after OFAB engaging so many different stakeholders, the cabinet in 2019 came up to a decision that farmers can now cultivate BT cotton. What we can offer the new kid in the block, again, I want to offer some of the services we have. One is the drumbeat, Africa Bioscience Trends. I would love to cover this story of the birth of a new OFAB chapter, a new OFABian. Number two, we have various platforms where we train on science communication and packaging of knowledge products so that we can reduce the jargon that scientists provide and making sure that our stakeholders are able to assimilate this information. Thirdly, and very importantly, now we have BT Cotton. You are our neighbors. We have our signature, seeing is believing study to us. We are open. Contact us, then we'll be able to take your stakeholders to the different BT Cotton stakeholders, the cotton value chain actors, so that as you prepare for other biotech products, you can learn from the mistakes we made and from the successes that we have made. So again, congratulations, welcome aboard, karibu sana Rwanda Chapter.
Ye mkuo nti na mebae omo frɛ yɛ sɛ yɛ mmra ne yɛmɛgye nteteyɛ nti mebae a me so mabɛhyia bi nsɛm bebree na ɔmo de ama yɛn fa abɛɛfo nneɛma a yɛdua ne yɛ kane deɛ na ne yɛdua no yɛde toto abɛɛfo deɛ yi ho a nkyɛ sɛ yɛdeɛ na ne yɛyɛ no ɛmmoa yɛnya hwee mfiri mu nti abɛɛfo nneɛma no yɛhyia a ɛno na ɛbɛboa yɛn nti yɛbae na ɔmo bɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛn bebree sɛ bɛyɛ a yɛbɛfa abɛɛfo kwan no so na yɛtumi adua binsi papa ama yɛnya nnɔbaa kɛse a ɛbɛboa yɛn aboa wɔ maa no nyinaa.
I had my own conceptions about GMO. To a large extent, they were probably not valid, but today I had enough information to kind of convince me about genetically modified foods, that it's not all about what we think out there, that it's a combination of some organisms or some chemicals to alterate the kind of foods we have in our system.
Thank you very much. So you heard from Kenya and Ghana. Allow me at this point to also mention that We're very lucky that we have one of the OFAB coordinators attend this meeting in person, and this is Dr. Edgar Traore from Burkina Faso. So I'll give him an opportunity to speak in person to OFAB Rwanda, the new OFABian. So you do have the floor, sir.
Bonjour. Ben, c'est une opportunité. Je me suis invité à la réunion par hasard. Ça a été une grande coïncidence. Et je pense que la responsable à la communication a souhaité que je communique en français. J'espère que cela ne pose pas de problème. Can I go ahead in French? OK. Ben donc l'opportunité m'est offerte. Je remercie le coordinateur régional Vitu, ici présent, pour l'opportunité qu'il nous donne en tant que coordinateur de OFAB Burkina de partager un peu notre expérience avec notre nouveau-né. J'espère que cela sera traduit ensuite en anglais pour permettre une meilleure compréhension. Je suis Dr Edgar Traoré et je suis généticien en amélioration des plantes. Pour l'histoire, j'ai visité Nairobi en 2011 et j'ai à tout hasard rencontré Madame Nancy, puis un certain Daniel Otunge, dans le cadre d'un travail qui était autour du niébé génétiquement modifié. Et c'est à cette occasion que j'ai pu participer à une manifestation de OFAB organisée par Dr Margaret. Et je me suis dit, mais qu'est-ce qui se passe ici? Bon, vous avez cette opportunité de rapprocher la science des consommateurs des produits de science. Et au Burkina, nous avons des problèmes parce que nous cultivons déjà le coton bété, parce que le coton bété est introduit au Burkina depuis 2003. Des recherches se sont déroulées avec l'INIRA, qui est l'Institut national de recherche, de 2003 jusqu'en 2008. Et à partir de 2008, on a cultivé le coton génétiquement modifié jusqu'en 2015. Il y a eu une histoire pour une suspension. Donc, c'est comme ça que, rapidement, on a eu la visite de Nancy, à l'époque, le coordinateur régional Daniel Otunge. Ils sont venus installer, en fait, d'abord nous rendre visite pour voir comment installer OFAB au Burkina. Et donc, OFAB a été hébergé par l'INERA, qui est mon institut. Et en 2012, OFAB Burkina est né, 6 ans après la naissance de OFAB d'origine. Et OFAB est arrivé en 2012 et en même temps, il fallait trouver un coordinateur. À l'époque, moi, j'étais encore en thèse au Ghana. Et j'ai mon collègue, Dr Tenir-Bego, qui a pris le lead et qui a coordonné OFAB jusqu'en 2015, avant que je ne prenne la main. Donc, je pense que Vitu a déjà assez bien présenté comment OFAB est organisé. Au Burkina, nous avons un comité de programmation de 13 membres et nous avons essayé d'associer le maximum de partenaires parce que OFAB doit mettre en place sa stratégie. Comme il l'a dit, chaque pays a sa stratégie. Et au Burkina, nous avons des partenaires au niveau de la recherche. Donc, dans le comité de programmation, nous avons la recherche nationale, nous avons des universités et nous avons aussi choisi des membres au niveau de la société civile. Nous avons choisi des membres au niveau des parlementaires. Parce que c'est eux qui s'asseyent pour réfléchir à comment organiser la communication autour des biotech. Les technologies sont disponibles et comme vous le savez bien, on dit que l'Afrique a raté la révolution verte. Nous ne souhaitons pas rater la révolution biotechnologique. Parce qu'il l'a signalé, chaque seconde qui passe, nous avons des gens qui meurent de faim alors que l'Afrique, c'est la mère patrie des hommes. Donc, les débuts sont toujours difficiles. Je vais juste donner quelques conseils par rapport à la naissance de OFAB Rwanda. Donc, il faut savoir que il y a tellement de préjugés, de mauvaises informations qui circulent et qui font qu'il y a la peur sur toutes ces technologies. Donc, votre rôle, c'est de rapprocher les scientifiques des consommateurs finaux. Donc, il faut que vous mettez en place une stratégie. Et nous, au niveau du Burkina Faso, nous avons procédé par un système de réseautage. Nous avons créé des petits réseaux qui sont connectés à OFAB, ce qui nous permet à chaque fois d'accéder facilement à notre cible. Donc nous avons un réseau au niveau de la société civile que nous avons appelé Africa Biotech. C'est différentes associations de la société civile qui interviennent dans le domaine agricole, dans le domaine de la santé humaine, dans le domaine de la promotion de la femme. Et nous avons également mis en place un réseau de scientifiques. Il s'agit de généticiens capables de comprendre les technologies sur lesquelles nous pouvons identifier des personnes ressources qui vont communiquer sur ces technologies, donner les bases scientifiques, les arguments scientifiques pour démystifier les gros mots que sont OGM. Parce que le simple fait de dire OGM fait peur à beaucoup de personnes. Donc nous avons ciblé notre communication sur d'abord les producteurs. Et 3 ans après notre installation, nous sommes arrangés pour encourager les producteurs à revendiquer eux-mêmes les produits de la science. Donc nous avons mis en place un groupe de producteurs qu'on appelle Biotech Farmers Network. Donc ils sont à peu près 100 producteurs et ils sont en train de s'étendre pour avoir à peu près 1000 producteurs tout autour qui vont pouvoir s'organiser et revendiquer les technologies qui sont les meilleures pour ne pas être en arrière-plan. Au-delà de ceci, nous avons pu introduire notre système parlementaire où nous avons mis en place un réseau parlementaire pour la science, la biotechnologie et la biosécurité. Vous savez que les parlementaires représentent tout le peuple. Donc si vous avez un parlement au Rwanda, ce parlement parle au nom de tous les Rwandais. Donc c'est une cible précieuse qu'il ne faut pas rater. Et donc quand nous avons mis tous ces réseaux en place, et c'est parmi eux que nous avons nos membres du comité de programmation, et nous ciblons les organes gouvernementaux au niveau des ministères clés. Entre autres ministères clés, vous avez le ministère de la Recherche scientifique, où nous avons constaté que le problème commence dans la maison. Moi-même, je suis scientifique et j'ai découvert que beaucoup de scientifiques sont opposés ou sont dans le doute. Il est vrai que ce n'est pas parce qu'on est docteur en médecine spécialisé au cœur qu'on peut opérer une dent. Donc, même plusieurs professeurs titulaires des universités ne sont pas à mesure de comprendre la technologie qui est derrière parce que ce n'est pas leur domaine. Donc, il vous revient à vous, OFAB, de faciliter le débat autour de ces technologies. Donc, nous avons mis en place notre stratégie de sorte que OFAB soit une plateforme unique, une plateforme puissante qui permet à tous les membres des gouvernements, à n'importe quel ministère, de pouvoir débattre autour des OGM. Et donc, ça fait qu'aujourd'hui, même quand il y a des préoccupations au niveau du pays, telles que récemment, nous avons été interpellés en tant qu'OFAB pour venir expliquer en quoi les biotechnologies peuvent contribuer à la sécurité alimentaire. Et OFAB était heureux d'envoyer quelqu'un pour parler des arguments scientifiques derrière les technologies qu'on propose. Donc, je vous conseille de prendre en compte toute la diversité professionnelle, toute la diversité de la population du Rwanda pour amener les scientifiques à donner les bases scientifiques qui sont derrière ces technologies. Je pense que je vais m'en arrêter là. Je suis encore là pour 2-3 jours et certainement nous allons pouvoir avoir l'occasion de discuter avec les éventuels membres qui vont constituer OFAB Rwanda. Donc, bienvenue à OFAB Rwanda, bienvenue dans la famille. Je vous remercie.
Our able facility MC will make a summary of that. Otherwise, let me say that may God bless OFAB, may God bless Rwanda, may God bless Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vitumbiko, on striving to close the information gap on agricultural biotechnology in Africa. I'm going to give a summary of what the representative from OFAB Burkina Faso just presented to us in French. Dr. Edgar Traore. He thanked Mr. Vitu for the invitation and also explained the journey of how OFAB Burkina Faso came to be. It started with his journey in Nairobi in 2011, where he met Madame Nancy. And from there, he attended an event that was organized by Miss Margaret. From 2008 to 2015, there was the introduction of modified cotton in Burkina Faso, which came to a halt for various reasons. Then from 2012, OFAB Burkina Faso was born. He started leading OFAB Burkina Faso since 2015, and it is a coordination of 13 members. He kept emphasizing on the importance of having a strategy that works, ensuring that there are partners in national research. Amongst the partners that OFAB Burkina Faso has, they engage universities, they engage the civil society, and members of parliament. He says that there is a few tips he could give the baby OFAB Rwanda Chapter, which are as follows. As you start this journey, you're going to notice that there are a lot of prejudices when it comes to biotechnology. You should expect these prejudices. You should also expect fear around biotechnology. But he advises that OFAB Rwanda Chapter should come up with a strategy that works, that will ensure that the public is informed and educated. He gave an example of how OFAB Burkina Faso works. OFAB Burkina Faso created networks to work together, such as Africa Biotech, and they made sure they engaged scientists to be involved in the technologies used and also to demystify all the myths around genetic modification. They also work with Biotech Farmers Network, which currently has 100 members, but they are striving to reach 1,000 members. And they also introduced a parliament network. He kept emphasizing that for OFAB Rwanda Chapter to get far, they have to engage all these stakeholders, primarily the parliament, since they're the ones who come up with all these policies that affect the population. He also underlined that OFAB should be built, OFAB Rwanda Chapter should be built as a unique organization where all the members of the government are engaged and to hold regular discussions on biotechnology. Engage all the population to ensure that this will keep fighting or coming against the prejudice that is held often against biotechnology. He concluded by saying that he's here for 2 to 3 days. If we want to keep engaging him and discussing with him for more, he will be glad to share. Briefly, that was a summary of the speech he just shared with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Traore. At this point in time, I would like to welcome Ms. Juliet Kabera. She's the Director General at REMA, and she was part of the team that established forward-thinking, forward-looking environmental institutions and policies in Rwanda. Madame Juliet Kabera will talk to us about the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority, REMA, and I would like us to give her a round of applause as she walks to the podium. Welcome, Madame Juliet.
Good morning once again. Morning. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol is observed. It's my pleasure and delight to deliver a few remarks at this day of, launching this forum. I think it's a very important discussion to be having at this point in time. I come from the Rwanda Environment Management Authority. We, as the name suggests, we are in charge of ensuring that natural resources, built environment, not-natural environment is also well managed for now, but also for years and generations to come. So to this point of discussing biotechnology, It's a very wide and also sensitive subject to be discussing because of what many speakers have already eloquently suggested. There is a lot of demystification that is supposed to be done. When you talk about biotechnology, my heart already skips to GMOs. Is it safe? Is it safe for the environment? Is it not safe? Are we supposed to be accepting it or not? Are we ready? And all those questions turn around within just a few seconds. I think we need to be in a position of being comfortable to look at biotechnology, being comfortable and also capacitated to be to know what am I taking, what do I need now, and how do I handle what I need so as to use the science that we all very much need in a sustainable way, in a way that is safe for our lives and for the environment. This morning I was recalling the very first day I saw a Frisian cow. That was a long time, really long time.
Recording in progress.
And my mother was like, "Ichini Simba." Now getting, it translates in English, this is a monster, this is not a cow. Because, I mean, it looked different, it looked too big, it looked much, much different from what we are used to as a normal cow in, at least where I grew up from. As time went on, as years went on, we learned to look at the good side of the Frisian. We appreciated the huge quantities of milk that it was producing. And as time went on, I think we now look at it as a cow. We no longer look at it as a monster. But of course, that goes with awareness, that goes with, seeing that it is still safe. I'm still living with this and I'm living with it safely. So to the biotechnology aspect, I think we need to develop that capacity, the human capacity. We need to develop the institutional capacities. We are the nationally designated authority to handle biotechnology, at least after we ratified the Cartagena Protocol, which we did in 2003. REMA was designated, it was not born by then, but when it came into existence, we were designated as the authority, the nationally designated authority. And that means we are meant to understand, to train, to support in the awareness raising, but also in the regulation of the way we use these technologies. I think here I'm speaking about biosafety. So biosafety only means we are being as conscious as possible. We are taking on these technologies in a very conscious manner so as we don't bring to ourselves risks that are not necessary. So to this end, we have developed a strategy, a biosafety strategy. It's already available. If you visited our website, you could find it. And as I already mentioned, the principle behind the strategy is we need to be as conscious as possible. From the strategy, we now have a draft law on biosafety, which is awaiting to be discussed in the cabinet and, of course, later on in the parliament. We are doing all this in parallel to raising awareness. We are trying to equip, to purchase equipment to be used in laboratories, to be able to know what we are bringing on the market. I work with my friend Karangwa on quite often, and we know that we have a number of confined trials. And as you might sense, I'm looking at biotechnology mainly on the far end, that is the GMO, but the minister educated us this morning that there is more to that. So yes, even when I'm talking about GMOs, I know there is a whole list of technologies that are good, that we need for agricultural development, that we need for the food security, that we need to prevent pests as well. I think we are also talking about pest-resistant varieties. We are talking about drought-resistant varieties. And all this is something that is positive. We're just trying to be as open-minded and ready to learn as possible, and to be ready. I think here what I'm talking about is how ready are we? How have we developed our capacity in order to know what we are taking on? So without further ado, I think I'm here to mention that REMA is available to really take on these tasks that we are supposed to be and to be working on, and to also pledge our collaboration in this journey of knowing and embracing biotechnology, which is safe for us and safe for the environment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Juliet Kabera, for your presentation on REMA. I loved the experience she gave of the modified cow. There is a lot of miscommunication around biotechnology, and I'm so glad that we have OFAB finally here in Rwanda to help raise awareness and change how we perceive biotechnology. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Nancy Muchiri, who is the public relations practitioner, who is the public relations at AATF. And prior to joining AATF, she worked with SOS Children's Villages. She'll give us the closing remarks. After the closing remarks, we are going to have brief entertainment, and we'll get ready for the press conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, guests, allow me to stand on existing protocol. I am really celebrating today. This is an 8th child of OFAB. So Vitu has a big family of 8 children. And like we all heard, the journey began in 2019 when a team from AATF and RAB met together and just to discuss how together they can collaborate and enhance agriculture through agriculture technology. If my memory serves me right, I remember that was led by one Emmanuel Okobenin and Sophia Tesvasian during that time. And there followed a high-level roundtable meeting to put flesh to the points that were identified at that early meeting. And that was held at the end of 2019 in partnership between AATF and RAB, and that also was mentioned. OFAB was identified as one area and as one way in which AATF can join hands with the government of Rwanda on the agriculture front. Specific discussions followed between RAB and AATF on OFAB on the mechanics of realizing that collaboration, with invitation to RAB at the end of 2019 to attend the OFAB planning meeting that was held in Mombasa, Kenya. That RAB representative at the time was one Dr. Athanase Nduwumuremi, forgive me, Athanase, who is seated here today and who I believe is as happy as all of us are in realization of this event, of this launch and this chapter. As you can see, therefore, a lot was achieved in 2019, but that was before COVID brought a lot of complications and caused a lot of delays. We lost time, but we did not lose the interest and the goal of realizing OFAB Rwanda. It was only delayed. Today, we all have the pleasure of celebrating this newest OFAB child, OFAB chapter, and you've heard from the other chapters. They welcome you, and we welcome you. And so you're joining a family of 7 in Africa. So from me, congratulations to this new OFAB child. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to recognize and appreciate your presence today as witnesses of this launch. Thank you for your partnership and your friendship. May I specifically recognize the support and presence of the government of Rwanda at this launch. Today we had the highest level representation. We have DGs sitting here with us, and you cannot not recognize that. Thanks and appreciation to our Minister, Honorable Dr. Geraldine Mukushamina. She has left, but she has left us with a message, and she has left us with a project, a chapter that has been launched and kicked off. Your leadership, your accommodation is very welcome, and we promise as AATF, and I join my executive director in this, to say that we promise to keep our promise to Rwanda in as far as OFAB is concerned and any other initiatives we will undertake. We thank the DG RAB specifically for your collaboration on OFAB and other initiatives that are in the making. Yesterday we continued discussions, and those will be on your table soon as reported this morning, and we do look forward to that partnership taking root. DG Rwanda Environmental Management Authority, REMA, we have listened to you, and your offer of friendship and support is well appreciated, and the story of the Frisian cattle will remain in our minds always and forever. Thank you for your presence. Each of you represented here today, you're a key player in the science, technology, and innovation arena, especially in agriculture, and I thank each one of you on behalf of AATF and RAB for your presence and especially for your patience and your support. The research organizations represented here, and especially the CGIAR, thank you for your friendship. Private sector, the government agencies, I've already mentioned those. Farmers were also invited. I believe we might have one or two. Thank you very much. Academia and universities, thank you for your leadership. You continue to lead the way of discovery with regards to ideas and even technologies. And we hold you in greatest esteem, like you've had in Burkina Faso. Universities are part and parcel of OFAB chapter, so also in the other chapters. We also work with CSOs. I believed that we might have had one or two here today. I am not sure, but thank you very much if you're here. They serve as the enablers and also the conscience of society, so thank you for being our friends. Our investors, our dreams can only be dreams without your support, and so we thank you very much for your friendship. I cannot close without special appreciation of the OFAB chapters. You heard some of them today. They continue to make a difference to our agriculture, Africa's agriculture, through their commitment to ensuring factual information and knowledge is available to decision makers and also technology users. So thank you very much for your friendship and support. And may I also thank our partners. I think we did not hear from them, PBS, AFS, and all. But I believe we will be hearing from them soon. Okay, we thank them, and we look forward to their messages of support. I appreciate each one of you for your time today, and on behalf of AATF and RAB, I want to appreciate the organizers of this event. We have seen quality, we have seen organization, we have seen unity, and we thank you all. And may God bless you as we launch OFAB Rwanda and allow her to take her first steps. We assure you all that we are here, that this chapter, the 8th OFAB chapter, is in safe hands. Welcome, OFAB Rwanda, to the OFAB fraternity. There is a lot of warmth and support in the wider OFAB family. You witnessed that, Athanas, when you came in 2019, and we look forward to getting this chapter on the road. Back to you, Barbara, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the closing remarks. As she has said it, we are going to close off with remarks from our OFAB partners. We have Jeremy Odrago from AUDA NEPAD. We have John Komen and Dr. Judy Chambers from PBS, and we have AFS, Ms. Juliet Otieno. They are on call. And as we acknowledge their presence, we also acknowledge everyone who has followed this event online.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And well, good afternoon it is. Greetings from the Netherlands, the country of the Frisian livestock, which was mentioned earlier this morning. And on behalf of the Program for Biosafety Systems and Judy Chambers, the director of the program based at IFPRI in Washington, D.C., I would like to confirm our thanks for inviting us to this important meeting and confirm our support to the newborn OFAB chapter in Rwanda. So, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, directors of REMA and RAB, AATF Board Chair, AATF Executive Director, and we look forward to, let me switch on my video. We look forward to, we very much look forward to continuing our collaboration with OFAB as we have done since its launch in 2006, when we were also there to support a newborn to crawl, to walk, and then to run. And although it's been 15 years of excellent collaboration with the AATF OFAB team, I feel the journey has only just begun. The momentum for agricultural biotechnology and biosafety is steadily changing in Africa, predominantly for reasons that were cited in Dr. Vitu's presentation. Agriculture biotechnology has a safety track record of 25 years and counting by now. A lot of data has been generated on its environmental safety, food and feed safety to humans and animals alike. And considering the fact that Africa has to increase its productivity and support a more resilient agriculture in the face of pests, diseases, and climate change, the attitude towards embracing agriculture biotechnology is clearly changing. The example of Nigeria was already mentioned, where insect-tolerant cotton and pot borer-resistant cowpea has been registered for commercial use by its farmers. But let's not forget that also smaller brothers and sisters like Malawi, Eswatini are making steady progress in adopting agriculture biotechnology following rigorous safety tests. Also in Rwanda, the momentum is clearly changing with proposed field trials for virus-tolerant cassava, as well as late blight-resistant potato. PBS has provided very modest support in the past by making experts from Kenya and Uganda available to support planning meetings and review meetings in Rwanda. And we're ready to partner with RAB and REMA to continue this journey towards a self-reliant system for biosafety assessment and decision-making. I'm very pleased to note that REMA has adopted a very comprehensive biosafety implementation plan in 2020 and has a proposed comprehensive biosafety law. I think that provides us and our partners with a clear roadmap as to how we can support further progress in Rwanda. The fact that IFPRI has our implementing organization, IFPRI, has a strong country office in Kigali only makes our collaboration more feasible and more important. So with that, I would like to once again state that, yes, our journey on the African continent has just begun. It's been a journey that over the last 15 years has been done hand in hand with the many OFAB country chapters and program committees. So in closing, I would like to once again thank AATF, the DG of AATF and board chair, but specifically, of course, the AATF OFAB team, Nancy Muchiri and Vitu for, joining efforts with PBS wherever we can, and making sure that PBS is represented in the various country chapters through their program committees. I think it's been a platform for collaboration across Africa, for coordination of efforts, and increasingly for jointly conducting policy outreach regarding agriculture, biotechnology, and biosafety in recent years. So with that, once again, congratulations to all partners in the room. And once again, greetings from the Netherlands, greetings from the Program for Biosafety Systems, and we're ready to support your journey as much as we can whenever possible. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam MC.
Thank you very much. We'll take on the next video.
Juliet, you're welcome. Thank you. My video is on. Hello, everyone. I'll just go on with my message as my video gets on. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be included to witness the launch of OFAB Rwanda. Mine is a simple message just of goodwill and congratulations. I recognize the dignitaries present and every partner in every capacity and contribution they have made in the advancement of agricultural biotechnology on the continent. We are the Alliance for Science have been honored to benefit from our ongoing collaboration with OFAB. They have been a superb partner in our shared journey of creating awareness and building capacity on ag biotech. We have worked together and giving each other and our growing community of scientists, NGOs, journalists, science champions, and concerned citizens the needed support to enhance an evidence-based approach to decision-making around agriculture biotechnology. It's been said today over and over again. The major things are tackling: misinformation, disinformation, and OFAB have been great to help us to close the information gap so that people can have facts to counter these issues. So it's our core mission as an alliance to increase awareness and training on the issue. And our OFAB collaboration has given us greater reach with every new chapter in the communities and ongoing work. It's given us inroads into the impact that's ongoing through their work. So now getting into Rwanda, we know that that will give us even greater impact and access. We are excited to see how the Rwanda chapter will blossom. It's also an opportune time for Rwanda to be included, given ongoing investments to include science, technology, and innovation in developing the country's agriculture production systems. Greater awareness and innovation will definitely pave the way to solving problems of pests and diseases and increase crop productivity and ultimately enhance food security for Rwanda's growing population. Since the inception of the Alliance, OFAB has been a critical partner, so we remain committed to working together with them, its chapters, and the larger agriculture innovation community, including those represented here in Rwanda and beyond. I'd like to call out 3 of the Alliance for Science Fellows present there. They're examples of key partners we rely on, and we know OFAB will work effectively with them as we pave the way for greater support. Congratulations again to AATF and OFAB. Welcome, Rwanda, and we look ahead to a more fruitful journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Juliet Otieno, for your kind wishes for OFAB Rwanda Chapter. Dr. Odrago has had network problems, so he sent a message. I'll read it quickly. He's the representative of AUDA NEPAD, and his message is: I convey greetings of the CEO of the AUDA NEPAD, Dr. Ibrahim Asane Mayaki, to the guest of honor, Minister Geraldine Mukeshimana, and all the distinguished personalities present. AATF and OFAB contribute to the AU Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, regarding the agriculture transformation and modernization using STI in general, and the modern biotechnology in particular. Yes, AU and AUDA NEPAD recognize modern biotech as multifunctional tools and enablers for achieving the Continental Development Goals. Congratulations to Rwanda for the great progress in the area of modern biotechnology since the past years. AUDA NEPAD is proud to be supporting these efforts through its flagship program, the African Biosafety Network of Expertise, ABNE. Congratulations to Dr. Canisius Kanangire for being appointed as the new ED of the AATF and for establishing the Rwandan chapter of OFAB. The role of OFAB is instrumental to ensure the acceptance by the general public and decision makers of the biotechnology principles and products. AUDA NEPAD is happy with the MOU signed with AATF, including OFAB, and will continue strengthening such partnership through joint actions in all AU member states and especially in Rwanda. With AATF, with OFAB Rwanda, let's bring our hands together to deliver prosperity through technology for the prosperous and food-secured continent, the Africa we want. Wishing the very best to OFAB Rwanda, I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you. It has been my pleasure to host you.